James Harden was lights out tonight. He had the 9 turnovers, and that's something he's going to correct because James Harden is a very efficient player. But there go that guy right there, the silent assassin and Kevin Durant right there. And look, I told people he was my early pick to be MVP. 42 points on 16 of 26 from the field. And I'm telling you, he's just going to get better and better. And James Harden with this Brooklyn team, hey, man, we finally may see this team take off and hit that stride that we've been waiting for.
It's just amazing how Kevin Durant can just blend in with whatever Hall of Famer he's playing with. He still plays his game so effortlessly. Let's listen to Harden and KD.
It felt really good. The guys got after it. I mean, individually, I got to stop turning the basketball over, but that comes with chemistry, that comes with practice, that comes with watching film. So, first game, I'm glad to get a win. And we just got to keep going.
You've only been here a little over 48 hours. What was it like building chemistry on the fly?
I mean, when you're playing with really, really good players, it's pretty easy. For me, just got to learn reads, learn what guys like the ball, just learn our personnel, individually. So once I get that, the turnovers are cut down, and I'll be more efficient.
It was incredible. You could see him trying to figure out the best way to play early on. I felt like we all were overpassing, trying to make everybody comfortable, and then he just got into his mode of, being aggressive to score, and that opened up the whole game for all of us. So, glad he got his feet up under him. He's got to keep plugging away, keep getting better each day.
So we mentioned that triple-double in the short list of having a triple-double in a team debut. Also not listed there, Russell Westbrook this season with the Washington Wizards. But, GA, 14 assists, most ever in Nets history in a debut. Just as a facilitator, show us how he was so special in his first game in Brooklyn.
That's the beauty of James Harden. We think so much about his ability to score the basketball, but he's equally adept as a facilitator. I think he's one of the 5 best passers in the game. He is so incredible in the pick and roll, in making the reads and utilizing his body. And this is what a team he's never played with. But look at these passes on the money, head up. He moves the defense with his eyes, so strong. And when he gets in that lane, the footwork, the body control, Ken Burch thinks he's going to take a charge. He sidesteps him and able to get that finish. And here, as they get him out in transition, head's always up. And he's so dangerous in this situation because of his ability to initiate contact and finish through it. And don't slip on his rebounding. He had 12 tonight. Just look ahead in transition. One thing that the Nets are doing really well, they play fast. They play early in the shot clock. And, talk about being efficient. Now, the turnovers weren't efficient, but everything else about his game was. And he's a special talent. I think sometimes that gets lost. Very similar to what we saw with Anthony Davis. There was so much about maligning him for not wanting to be in New Orleans that we forgot about the brilliance of the ability. And I think that's the same with James Harden. I think this is a perfect situation. Now, I will say this. They are atrocious defensively. As a team, that's an area that's got to be a major concern for them because this was a night when they were on. There are going to be nights, even for great players, where you don't shoot it as well, and you're going to have to be able to defend. And to go up against an undermanned Orlando team and give up 115 points, that's probably not the best recipe for long-term success for this Nets basketball team.
Well, that is a point that we're going to have to pay attention to the entire season, especially when they face other contending teams. And if they are going to be a contending team, Sam, then it's going to take James Harden and Kevin Durant playing well together. Sure looked good in this first game.
Yeah, they did, man. I mean, look, it's going to take them a while to figure out where each other likes the ball at and the space on the floor. But James Harden just fit right in. And you got to remember, he and KD started off together in OKC, so they're familiar with each other. And in today's NBA, the way the game is played, it's really no differences the way teams play. Most teams switch everything. Most teams play some type of passing, a game type offense where you play in the space and pace. So he's familiar with the style of play. It's just getting used to his new teammates. But James Harden is lights out, and GA said it. When you're a special talent and you pair him up with a guy like Kevin Durant, and then at some point they're going to have Kyrie Irving. GA said it, the defense. They're going to have to figure out how to play defense because that team in the Western Conference, the Los Angeles Lakers, we know when they put their mind to it, they're the best defensive team in the league. So the Nets, as great as it was for an opening debut for James Harden, they're going to have to figure out as time go on how to improve their defense.
You know, one key point you said, Sam, as time goes on, and GA, we all expect Kyrie Irving to be back into the mix. And James Harden said something very interesting the other day when he spoke as a member of the Brooklyn Nets for the first time. And he said, I'm willing to sacrifice. I think he was saying more from a scoring perspective and be a facilitator. I think that's what we saw in the first half. Is that me taking a little bit too much of a leap, or is that how this works with this group?
No, I think, and we get this conversation, people will always forget, these aren't low IQ basketball players. These guys have tremendously high basketball IQ. They said the same thing about James Harden when Chris Paul went there. Oh, two ball-dominant players, they can't play together. They won 65 games, and probably but for a hamstring injury to Chris Paul, they would have made it to the finals that year. They were up 3-2 in that series when he went down. They said the same thing when they had Westbrook come to Houston, and those two were able to coexist. Now, the team wasn't good enough to compete for a championship, but those two were able to make it work. Similarly with these two, and when you add Kyrie into the mix, again, these are all very efficient basketball players. They're all great shooters, and they're all comfortable playing with great players. You've seen it with Kyrie when he was with LeBron. You saw it with Durant when he went to Golden State. And so I think because of their style, Durant is a catch-and-shoot guy. He's not a ball-dominant guy. He can get his like tonight. You don't even notice he had 42. I mean, it was easy for him, and that's how he scores. He doesn't pound the ball a lot. Kyrie can also be a catch-and-shoot guy. And I think if those guys buy into winning, they're still going to have to play well and score, all three of them, because they don't have a lot of other guys that can consistently create their own offense. They're going to be reliant on that trio. So it's just a matter of can they fill out that roster? Can they get enough defense? Can they get enough rebounding and spacing? With Joe Harris, that helps. Those are going to be things we'll find out as the season progresses. And can they stay healthy, both physically and mentally, as we see what's going on with Kyrie Irving right now?
Yeah, Kevin Durant has been playing a lot of minutes for the Brooklyn Nets, coming back from that Achilles injury, and that's something that we should always monitor when a player's coming back from an injury like that. Another team I want to take a look at is a game that's in progress right now that we're going to go to in a few minutes. Memphis Grizzlies and the Philadelphia 76ers. Some interesting things happening with those two teams. So, Sam, when I look at Philadelphia, Joel Embiid out tonight and also out the next game with a knee injury, how concerned should the 76ers be, and how do they adjust when he's out of the lineup? Currently, they're trailing by 5 to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Well, they got to be concerned. Joel Embiid was playing at an MVP level. When you look at how